Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. I hope that everybody is having an unbelievable start to their week. I hope that you have gotten your morning off to a great start. And if not, I hope that I am able to help you with that. I'm going to be as quickly, I'm going to be as quick as I possibly can with this. I know that a lot of you are on your way into work, to the office, to wherever you have to be for the day. And so I want to send you on your way with something that you can fight with, something that you can pull yourself up with. And I'm feeling real energized about this morning because I operate in an industry where people love to show you what they've done. They love to display their accolades. They love to display their accomplishments. But a lot of times what people need is to know how you got through something. And so that's what I want to focus on now. It's good to talk about the accomplishments. It's good to talk about what you've been able to do. It's good to share so that people know that it's possible, but you've also got to expose them a little bit to the story behind your glory, the story behind the things that you're showing them, so that they don't get the illusion that you just skated into it and that there's something special about you, when the truth of the matter is you simply would not quit. You simply found a way to push through those dark moments. So I want to talk to you first and foremost and most importantly today about what do you do with your pain. See, one thing I can tell you in life, you've heard me say this over and over again: pain is inevitable. You're not going to get around pain. You're not going to find a way to move around pain. Pain is that thing that will find you. And it doesn't always come in opportune points or when you are totally engaged and prepared for it. It normally catches you off guard, or even when you know it's coming, it hits you with such force that it knocks you off of your feet. So what do you do with pain? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you got to understand that it's a part of the process. You got to understand that it's going to require you to do some things. You've got to understand that you've got to outlast the pain. That's the one thing that you got to understand when the pain first hit, is that I have to outlast this pain. Let me tell you how this thing works. Now, outlasting the pain has a process to it. Everything is about process. When you start to understand that there's a process, you start to look to identify the process, and then you start to work through the process. And that's how you get to the moment of breakthrough, whatever that is, whatever goal you're reaching, whatever thing you're striving for, whatever you're trying to get through. It's a point that you get there, but you've got to work through it. You've got to outlast the pain. Well, one of the things that you've got to do is you got to learn how to be attached to your purpose, your reason, your why. Why are you going through something? Why are you dealing with something? Why are you here? Why is it important that you outlast the pain? Why is it important that you continue to push through? Why is it important that you rise to the occasion? Because it's bigger than you. There's something more than just this moment. You can't get caught in the moment. You got to rise to the occasion. One of the things that I find troubling is that you got all these people that'll talk to you about where they're at, but they're not telling you how they got there. I want to talk to you about the journey and the process of achievement. I want to talk to you that it takes you through some dark moments. And what you've got to learn to do is you're going to have to learn how to find people who know how to get you through, who can teach you how to go through, who can teach you how to push through. See, people will show you where they got. They'll tell you all these things about what they have and what they've done. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all about success. That's what I teach people to do. But let me tell you something. There's a point when you're going to be there and there's nothing to celebrate. There's nothing to sit up and look at. For everything that you can see is nothing but pain, nothing but heartache, nothing but difficulty. So what do? You got to understand that you need to get through. So what you need is to find some people that can tell you how they got through. Find some people that can give you a testimony of what dark times look like and how they overcame them. You need to talk to some people about what they've been through. You need to have some people say, yeah, I've done this, but let me show you how I got through. Now I'm gonna tell you a real brief story. Nothing catastrophic, but I'm gonna tell you how it starts. I'm right now in the process of writing Hey, Deborah, how you doing? I'm in the process right now of writing book number 25. Book number 25. And I am also in the process of working with two of my authors in getting their books published to be launched by December 1st, and a couple of other projects on the table. Now, but let me tell you how it started. See, if I leave it right there, it's like, oh man, this guy's done 25 books, man. And if a person that hasn't written one book, then it's going to be difficult to really grasp this whole idea. But see, it started with one book. It started with a child, 16 years old in high school, having never known his father. His father recently passed away a couple of years before that. And he's trying to grapple with the idea that he's never going to know his father. And he has a teacher who happens to be the wife. He has a journalism teacher who happens to be the wife of his football coach. So they know my story. Now, here's the thing. I was being reared by my great grandparents. Let me put this in context for you. I was being reared by my grandmother's parents. Sometimes you say great grandparents, it doesn't register, but I was being reared by my grandmother's parents. I was adopted and reared. Now, they loved me, they took care of me, they trained me, they taught me a bunch of things, but you got to understand, when there's that much gap in age, there are some things that simply aren't there. My journalism teacher, Ms. Williams Leonard, and her husband, Coach Leonard, took me in sort of sideways adopted me in the sense that they would come spend time with me. They would pick me up and bring me over their house. They would take me places that your great grandparents just wouldn't think to take you. And they would invest in me. But one thing that Ms. Leonard knew was that I was still struggling with the fact that I was never going to know my father. And so she encouraged me to do research on absentee fatherhood and to write an article for the paper, because she was certain that in this all Black school that there were other Black boys and other Black girls who were struggling from the absence of their father, whatever it may be, and whatever the reasoning may be. And so she said, why don't you write an article? And I wrote the article. It was called The Invisible Father. And she was so proud of it that she not only published it in the school paper, she went to the Houston Forward Times, which was a local Black paper. She got it published. She didn't stop there. She went to Teen Magazine, a national publication at the time, and she had them publish it. And in that moment, I had become a published author outside of the school newspaper. I had wrote for the school newspaper, but I had never, done anything, outside of the newspaper. And there it was. And so I made up in my mind, there's so much left to write about on this topic. That's going to be a book. I'm going to write a book. Now, obviously, life came in. I did some things, got caught up in some other things. So it didn't happen right away. But then I came into a challenge and I realized that I was into my 30s. Listen to me now. I was into my 30s and I had accomplished a lot of things. I was doing some things, but I realized I was still driven by the wrong thing. I hadn't dealt with the issue with my father yet. I was still accomplishing things, trying to prove to a man that was no longer alive that I was worthy of his love. I'm going somewhere with this. Ride with me now. I want to tell you that there's a story behind the glory of every person that's presenting to you what they've become. I want you to see the journey for a moment. And I'm only giving you a small portion of it. But hey, so I realized now is the time to write that book. This book is going to be my catharsis. This book is going to be the cathartic process to where I release the pain, because I'm going to tell you what you have to do with your pain. I'm going somewhere with this. So I said, okay, I'm going to release the book, but let me tell you what happens. I write the book. I was so intensive in writing this book. I didn't use a typewriter. I type over 100 words per minute. I didn't use a typewriter. Didn't use a keyboard or computer. I wrote it with my hand, word by word with a pen. It was that personal to me. And I wrote it. And then when I finished it, I'm like, oh, wow, I've got it. Then here it was. Publisher after publisher. Same story, almost exactly. The book is well written. The book is well researched. The book is powerful. The problem is we don't see a large enough audience for it. The people that it's written to will probably not read it. And we don't see it as a good investment. We think it's a powerful book. And the name of the book was The Invisible Father, which is a follow-up to the article, but it's The Invisible Father, Reversing the Curse of a Fatherless Generation. Book number 1. And so the final company I went to was 2 Black women that I'm actually still connected to. And what they did is they went to their investors because it was a small publishing company and they had to get the okay from the investors. The investors said no. They said, this is what we will do. If you can come up with X amount of dollars, we will do content, we will do proofing, content editing, formatting, cover design. They gave me all the different things that go along with getting a book to the point of giving it to the printer. And we will get it to the printer and get you your first 50 copies for this amount. So what I did is I looked at it and I itemized it and I said, okay. I said, but if they can do all of this, let me see if I can do it. And I literally researched every step of that and I did it. And I got the book published. And then I realized, instead of just going self-published route with self-published, why not create a publishing house where I can take more control of it, have more access, but also offer opportunities to other people. So I made that a part of Odyssey Media Group. It became Odyssey Media Group and Publishing. And then here we are, 24 and a half books later, because I'm writing 25 now. But that's not the only thing. Remember how I couldn't get a publisher to take it? About 8 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago, a publishing company, Atlas Publishing, so who I'm still under contract with for this particular book, came to me, get this now, came to me and asked me, we have heard your lectures and read some of your articles on the miseducation of youth, Black youth in America. Would you be willing to write a book for us? Yes, I would. Because it represented something. It represented, it's one thing to overcome saying, okay, you say I can't do it, so I'm going to do it anyway. That's what happened with originally with the books. But when the industry comes back and said, wait a minute, there's something to you. Now, see, I had to push through that. I had to get through that. I had to take that. I had to know that there was something that I was delivering to the world bigger than me that could bless someone other than me. And I had to be willing to fight for it. But let me tell you something. There's a pain with having to go through these processes because, see, the catharsis took place as I wrote, but the victory came when I fought through and actually got it published. The acknowledgement of the victory didn't come for years later, when the very ones who didn't want anything to do with me were now pursuing me. You see what I'm saying? But let me tell you how pain works. If you're not careful, pain will eat you up from the inside out. Pain is toxic. It's going to hit you, but you got to know what to do with it. And one thing that writing that book did was teach me how to process pain and how to use pain to my benefit. Now, let me tell you something. See, I'm trying to teach you how to get through something here. Let me tell you something. When you have pain, pain is living. It's a live thing and it's eating. It's eating away at you. You got to learn how to process pain. What you want is to literally transfer the pain and transform the pain. You want to bring the pain outside of yourself because it does not lead to rest. You have to understand this. I heard someone say this before, that your body and your internal makings are not a resting place or a coffin for pain. And you got to understand that you cannot allow pain to take up residence inside of you. So pain is there. So what do you do with it? You find a way to transform it. You take it and you invest it in something outside of yourself, bigger than yourself. You sit up and you start teaching people. You sit up and you start ministering to people. You sit up and you create a program that allows you to bless people. When you take your energy and your effort while you're going through pain and you invest that force that's coming into you, causing you pain, into something positive, what you will find is you will turn around and turn the very thing that caused you pain into the very thing that will bring you joy. But you've got to understand the pain cannot live on the inside of you. It can't take up residence on the inside of you. It cannot become the resting place. Your body cannot become the resting place for your pain. You got to take it and you got to transform it. You got to transfer it into something else and transform it into something positive. There's a transcendency in the process of growth. Growth is taking pain and transforming it into something better. It happens in the biological and physiological sense. You go into the gym, you're going to experience some pain. But what happens with the pain? You grow, you shed the unnecessary weight, you build and develop muscle and strength, you build endurance, but it comes through pain. The pain of not being able to catch your breath, the pain of the burning sensation as you're actually breaking down muscle in order to rebuild it. All of these different things. You're going to go through delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, because you've actually had little micro tears because of the workout that you've done. But that's going to produce a more stronger body as your body rebuilds itself. You're going through pain. Well, the same thing has to happen in life. You've got to take that pain and you got to transform it and you got to put it into something positive. You got to make the pain work for you instead of the pain eating at you. You can't control the pain that comes into your life most of the time. Sometimes we make choices that bring pain, but most of the times it's something that's coming from somewhere else and you don't get to control that. You can't control how other people treat you. You can't control how other people talk to you. You can't control whether someone decides they don't want to be with you anymore. You can't control a lot of these things, but what you can do is you can control what you're going to do about it, what you're going to do with it. I am going to take every piece of heartache and I'm going to invest it into making somebody else's life better. And the return I get from that is joy, knowing that I wasn't broken and that I built someone in the process. Not only did it not break me, but it brought somebody else healing because I refused to sit around and sulk in my moment. I refuse to sit around and bask in negativity and darkness. So what do? I stand up and I go out and I touch. I stand up every morning that I come and speak. I don't feel like speaking. Every video that I make, I made thousands of videos. And every last one of them wasn't one I joked up in the morning. So, oh my God, I'm just happy. But some of them was like, man, this is one of those days. But I stood up and said, there's something out there. I knew my why. I understood my reason. The saying of the day is, I understood the assignment. I understood the assignment. I understood that there was something here for me to do. And it's not based on how I feel and that I could actually dictate how I feel if I didn't let how I feel take the lead. In other words, I can have a bad day and turn it into a good day. I have that capacity. I have the ability in my mind, in my spirit to transcend the moment and make that moment become my moment. And that's what I want you to understand. Nothing has the power to break you until you let it. You're going to go through some moments. Yeah, I've written and published 24 books. I've written and published thousands of scholarly academic articles. I've published tens of thousands of prose articles over the course of my life. But it started with a 16-year-old kid in high school. It started with one little thing that I needed to do. And it unleashed a passion. It revealed a purpose. And life has changed ever since. Does it mean it was always easy? No, I'm meeting challenges every day, but what I'm not doing is letting my challenges break me. I know for a fact, because I've been through it already, I'm built for this. I'm trying to get you to understand that, yeah, you can see the people on the mountaintop, but no, they started at the base of the mountain. Don't think that somebody dropped them off up there. They climbed. It's okay to be in the process. It's okay to be moving towards something. It's okay to experience setbacks. It's okay to feel like crying. It's okay to look up and say, man, I don't know how much more I got in me. But at some point, you got to gird yourself up and make up in your mind that you're not going to quit. This is about perseverance. This is about perseverance. This is about breaking through. And you don't break through by sitting. You don't break through by wishing. You don't break through by hoping. You break through by moving. You break through by taking action. You break through by believing that the next step may be the best step and that I'm not going to quit. You can't beat me unless you kill me. And in my mindset, if I die trying to get something done, I went out with a bang. Nobody will say I quit. I've left a legacy for my kids beyond money. You know what I left them? I left them something. That man just never stopped. He just never gave up. He just kept going. You know who left me that legacy? My great grandfather, the man who reared me as his son, left me that legacy. Born as a son of a sharecropper in 1909, had to drop out of school in the second grade in order to work the fields with his father just to make ends meet. But he never quit. Became the first black master welder at Dresser Clark Industries, an R-rig building company, a place where he started as the janitor. See, that's the stock I come from. He got a job as a janitor, but he would stay after work and learn how to weld from the welders there. And then he became an apprentice. And then he became a welder. Then he became a master welder. He retired after 30 years with them. The only black man in his position at this company with a second grade education. He took care of his family. He didn't fold. This is what I'm trying to get you. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. You have to be willing to push through. You have to be willing to finish. You got to be willing to work through to the breakthrough. The breakthrough isn't an absent or abstract idea. It's the final experience of a process in which you push, in which you stand, in which you fight. You got to put in the work. I wasn't always in this office overlooking the city. And I've got a long way to go to get back to where I was, but I wasn't, I know what it feels like. Let me tell you something. See, it's easy to talk about the thing. It's easy to pretend that you've always had it. I've had some unbelievably great moments in my life. Man, my 30s was the bomb. But I started experiencing some things. And I'm telling you, I wasn't always in a place like this. I wasn't always in where I'm at in my home. I know what it's like to wake up with snow on top of you. And that was after reaching my pinnacle. After thinking it's nowhere in hell I could ever fall. And then falling. So I know what it's like to be at the top, and I know what it's like to be at the bottom. But what I can tell you, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. If God woke you up this morning, however you see God, if you're waking up in this morning and you still have breath in your body, you're still in the fight. Don't you dare quit. Don't you dare give up. Don't you dare listen to the lies that are being whispered in your ears, the sweet nothings of negativity whispered by minimal-minded people who want nothing more but to see you stay where you've always been, because that makes them comfortable. Don't you dare do it. You stand up. They told me I wouldn't get book 1 published. I'm writing book 25. You start somewhere. The first person to climb Mount Everest started at the base of the mountain. You got to be willing to push through. That's it for you today. I hope that it helps you start your day off right. I hope it helps you start your day off in a positive mindset, but you are going to have to stand up and fight. Life throws a punch at you, hit back. Take it and hit back. On that note, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. By the way, if anyone wants to work with yours truly in doing what I do exceptionally well in one-on-one interventions, one-on-one life enhancement strategies, one-on-one programs, the information to work with me on the new program that I've created. It's a 6-week program. It's exciting. For those who don't know, who've never contacted me, never worked with me in the past, most of my programs are 12 weeks and higher. Well, my programs were 12 weeks and higher, 12 weeks all the way up to 52 weeks in a complete year. But some people wanted something shorter. So I created Savage in 6. It's a 6-week program. If you are serious about changing your life, the link is in the description box. No matter where you're at, or some places it's probably the post box or whatever you want to see. In the space of the post, you're going to see the way that you can sign up for Savage in 6 and work with yours truly to take your life to the next level. There's a process to it, but it can be done. I don't care where you're at. That's the beauty about life. It doesn't care where you're at. Because see, I can tell you, that was a time I was at the top and I ended up at the bottom. So, and that was a time when I first started, I didn't start with much. And in both instances, I was able to gain footing and move forward. Life doesn't care where you start. Life cares what you're willing to invest in it. Life cares what you will. Life will pay whatever demands you make on it, but it's going to make counter demands in the process. There's going to be something you're going to have to give up, something you're going to have to be willing to give in order to have it, but you can. I challenge you, come work with me. It's 6 weeks, power packed. On that note, look, I'm ready. I'm getting out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day. I know I will.